बोलते हैं पैसा पहले दो, माल बाद में लेके जाओ, क्योंकि हमको आपकी जरूरत नहीं है। हमारी तो इतनी एडवर्टाइजमेंट है कि लोग सामने से मांगने आते हैं, आपको माल दे देना वही बहुत है। अभी ये यूनिलीवर है और सामने हमारा दूसरा स्टूडेंट है, वो भी डिटर्जेंट बनाता है। वो मुझे बोलता है सर जब तक यूनिलीवर जो कंपनी है ना तब तक हमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं। वो एडवर्टाइज करते रहेंगे टीवी पे, डिटर्जेंट खरीदो, उनका डिटर्जेंट बाजार में मिलेगा उससे ज्यादा मेरा मिलेगा। मैं डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर को बोलता हूँ भाई आप पैसे की फिक्र मत करो, मैं आपको माल देता हूँ। छोटे छोटे गांव में, छोटे छोटे विलेजेस में भी मेरा टेम्पो जाएगा, सुबह में आके आपके यहाँ दुकान पे माल रख देगा, दूसरे दिन आएगा, जितना बिका उतना पैसा देना। So you don't invest and you don't worry. So now what is happening? Advertisement is of surf, detergent is being sold of Kadi, and the sale of Kadi is 2000 crore. Now 2000 crore का जब सेल पहुंच जाते हैं, then these people start worrying. अरे ये तो इतना बड़ा हो गया. But like this, there are hundreds of people who are doing extremely well, but they are not in public knowledge. They are not in public figure, but they keep on doing well. They are into the periphery. Now, this particular ability of dealing with people like this is what is family businesses. Now, that guy tells me, मैंने उनको पूछा कि भाई आपके इतने सेल्समैन हैं, आप कैसे मोटिवेट करते हैं? तो उन्होंने मुझे बोला कि भाई देखो कहीं पे हम लोग ट्रिप पे जाते हैं, लंबी ड्राइव पे जाते हैं, तो लोग चेक करते हैं गाड़ी में पेट्रोल है कि नहीं, टायर में बराबर हवा भरा है, डू यू हैव स्टेपनी प्रॉपर्ली रिपेयर्ड, सब चेक करते हैं। लेकिन ड्राइवर के पेट में पेट्रोल है कि नहीं वो नहीं चेक करते। फैमिली बिजनेस पीपल विल डू इट अदर वे अराउंड। तुमने चाय पिया क्या, खाना खाया क्या? And he says that the fact that I care for my people is the reason because of which the people care for us. दूसरा एक स्टूडेंट बोल रहा है, जयपुर का है, अगर घर से ऑफिस में 5 लाख रुपया लेके जाना है तो मैं लेके नहीं जाऊंगा, मैं ड्राइवर को दे दूंगा। अगर मैं लेके जा रहा हूँ, रास्ते में कोई चाकू लेके आ गया तो मुझे तो दे देना पड़ेगा, लेकिन ड्राइवर अपने जान पे खड़ेगा, देगा नहीं। Now why will they do it? Because that relation is built. They feel that this is our company, and that is the value in family businesses. हमारे यहाँ पे एक वेबसाइट है naukri.com. यहाँ कभी भी we want people, then you go on the site, you will get hundreds of resumes. Those who want to get job, they will put there. 90% of the data there are of the people working in non-family businesses. एक कंपनी में काम करते हैं, naukri.com पे लगा दिया मेरा बायोडेटा, वो देख के आपने मुझे सिलेक्ट किया, मुझे 20% इंक्रीज दिया सैलरी में, सीधा नेक्स्ट डे मेरा बायोडेटा अपडेट हो गया वहाँ पे, and somebody else will give me further 20% increase and I will switch. 90% of the employees of family businesses, they don't put their data there at all. And when I ask someone कि तुम यहाँ पे कम पगार मिलता है, तुम दूसरी जगह पे क्यों नहीं जाते? तो he says, मेरा घर अगर छोटा है और कोई दूसरा घर बड़ा है तो क्या मैं घर बदल दूंगा, परिवार बदल दूंगा? This is our company, and ठीक है जो है हम छोटे हैं, छोटे, कम पगार है, कम पगार है। Now this feeling that an employee felt about the company was because of the values that the business is doing. Another person is telling me, मेरे दादाजी ने एक चीज हमको सिखाई, जब 1 मीटर कपड़ा मापते हो ना, 2 सेंटीमीटर ज्यादा देना, कम मत देना। अगर कम दिया और वो जो हराम की कमाई है ना, वो हजम नहीं होगी। अभी maybe that old man didn't understand. After all, money is money. क्या हराम की है और क्या पसीने की कमाई, कमाई कमाई है, पैसे का कलर कलर है। दुनिया को खाली पैसा दिखता है, कहां से आया है नहीं दिखता है। Maybe he didn't know, but he had a fear that हमको चोरी का पैसा नहीं चाहिए। And that is the value that goes in, which he lived like this for 20 years, and it is because of that the family has certain reputation, family has certain name, and family businesses have a name to protect. मेरे दादाजी ने ये कंपनी चालू की है, पूरे हमारी कम्युनिटी में हमारी इज्जत है, because we are people like this. Now I cannot spoil the name of my family. Compare this to a corporate sector where an executive is for a few years and then he'll go to some other company, and in this few years he has to perform. So there is something called continuity of leadership in family businesses. There is a long-term working in family businesses. आज 3 साल प्रॉफिट नहीं हुआ ना, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, चलेगा. We will grow over a period of time. They don't have to perform quarter to quarter result to show anybody else. These are various reasons because of which family businesses have certain abilities which is superior. And then lastly, in life there are contradictions. घर वाले बोलते हैं फैमिली की ओर देखो, बिजनेस वाले बोलते हैं कि बिजनेस की प्रायोरिटी दो, किसको करें? कोई आंसर नहीं है, बैलेंस करना पड़ता है. क्वालिटी बढ़ाना है तो कॉस्ट बढ़ती है, लेकिन हमको कॉस्ट भी कम करनी है, क्वालिटी भी बढ़ाना है. क्या करें? क्वालिटी बढ़ाए, कॉस्ट कम करें. दोनों के ऊपर ख्याल रखना पड़ता है. एक भाई बहुत कैपेबल है, एक भाई कमजोर है, क्या करें? दोनों को इक्वल विड्रॉल होना चाहिए. बिजनेस सेज remunerate according to performance. Family says everybody in the family should be equal. अभी क्या करें? Should we do as per performance? Should we do as equal? We have to live with both. तो family business में आप पूछो तो they are with so many things which are unresolved. तो बोलते हैं learn to live with it. घर में पंखे होते हैं तो क्या छोड़ थोड़ी सकते हैं? पंखे के साथ में रहते हैं. कभी हाई टाइड आती है तो बहुत अच्छा रिलेशन हो जाता है, लो टाइड आ जाती है तो बहुत टेंशन हो जाते हैं, फिर भी वापस हाई टाइड आती है. तो फैमिलीज बिजनेसेस आर यूज्ड टू अप एंड डाउन, मैनेज कॉन्ट्राडिक्शन. दे डोंट हैव अ क्लियर आंसर फॉर सो मेनी थिंग्स एंड स्टिल दे थिंक दैट थिंग्स कैन गो ऑन. नाउ दिस इज अ वेरी वेरी सॉलिड एबिलिटी व्हिच इज रिक्वायर्ड इवन इन बिजनेस. एबिलिटी टू मैनेज कॉन्ट्राडिक्शंस. So we say in MBA schools, we teach people that देखो ये केस है, अभी क्या आंसर आगा बोलो, लोग अलग अलग जवाब देते हैं, and then we say look, this is the right answer. So in school, in college, we teach people about right answer. Akio Morita, chairman Sony Corporation, started this as a family company himself. Post Second World War, everything was ruined. एक गैरेज में उन्होंने टेप के ऊपर मैग्नेटिक टेप से काम चालू किया. And then they started music industry, and that time there was a record player and all the thing was going on. That time the music was supposed to be enjoyed only in opera, that is an auditorium like this, and there will be live so many people there and playing music, and you do nothing else and you just listen and enjoy music. When the records came, now the record player is there in the drawing room in the home, and you are supposed to sit, relax and only listen to the music. That is the time when Akio Morita comes with the idea that people should be able to carry music with them. That there can be an instrument in which music is stored, and they can put it in their ear, and then they can walk anywhere and music will be with them. And the people of his company said, have you gone crazy? Who will want to carry music with them? Music is supposed to be set in the drawing room and enjoyed. How can you be just walking and also listening to music? And they did a market research, and the conclusion was that this will be a super flop. And then Akio Morita, as the chairman, he gave a threat. Either we are launching this or I am resigning. And it is only ultimately bulldozing by the family man who started the company, who bulldozed it. Everybody objected, but he says we have to do it, and they did it, and that's how Walkman was introduced. Now, this is something that is of family businesses. That they can sense opportunity, they can be a little beyond the market. And suppose it goes wrong, then what happens? Ratan Tata talked about nano car. $2,000, 1 lakh Indian rupees, a car. And it didn't pick up. It became publicized as poor man's car. And now poor man also doesn't want to buy. Because if I buy, it will be a certificate that I am a poor man. And no, car is never to be bought. No, car is always a status symbol. So even a poor man will prefer a second-hand car than to buy Nano, because Nano became a certificate of poor man's car, and it was a disaster. It continues to be a still in problem. But now, as a chairman, as a family man, he takes a call. And this ability to take these decisions is what makes business dynamic. So this is the reason why family businesses can do well. Now, we are not saying that only family businesses can do well. Other businesses can also do well. But family businesses are not just to be bashed around. That is the only idea. They can do well in economy. Both sides of businesses are required. So Unilever is also required. Because you need somebody to spend 100 crores on advertising. Family businesses will never spend. And if they don't spend 100 crores on advertising, the free TV channels that we all see, we can't see. Because ultimately they are paying for it. Family businesses will never put that. So you need that big companies also, and you need family businesses also. They are complementary. Now, the whole media projection is that only big companies are the most sophisticated, stable, fanic business, and family businesses are not. That is not true. That is what is our side. Of course, big businesses have their own strength. Family businesses have their own strength too. Family businesses have weakness. Big businesses have their weakness too. And let's keep things in the right perspective. So at SPGN, we have an MBA program where MBA will go and join big companies. And we have an MBA program for sons and daughters from business families who will join business families. And both are important. Now, while we are telling this, coming back to family businesses, discussing that family business is a big advantage, is true. So far, so good. But now there is a twist in the tail. There is something called paradigm shift. What happened in 1960s? Switzerland was a place known for watches. Everywhere in the world, either watches are not there, or if it is there, it is smuggled from Switzerland. In India, imports were not allowed. We had one Indian company, Hindustan Machine Tools, which is a public sector company which was making watches, and 90% of the watches in the market are smuggled Swiss watch. And Swiss watches were there all over the world. Ghadi, matlab Switzerland, that's how it was known. 60% of the population in Switzerland is busy into making watches. And we were king. So anywhere, wherever some micro final things are to be done, Swiss engineers. In this much watch, there will be a spring and there will be a key, and you will do the keying and the spring will go closer, and as the spring will unfold, the watch will run. Very micro fine work. Very well developed expertise in Switzerland. And one of the engineers in that Swiss watch company came out with quartz watch. And he showed the technology. This watch can be done like this. And all the Swiss giants refused it. If there is no spring, if there is no key, what is it? Not watch at all. So who will use it? Scrap it. Now, there was an exhibition about watches and technology and all. And Swiss people put in the exhibition this technology, because according to them it's good for nothing, but still there's display. And one company from US and one company of Japan, they saw it and they picked up the technology and then became quartz watch. Now once the quartz watch started, it was in Japan. And then Japan became the world leader in watches and Swiss went down. That is called paradigm shift. If that spring is required, Switzerland is required. But the moment it's battery, then Switzerland, all the strengths are gone. Now you are one more. So certainly by 1990, the whole Swiss watch industry came into shambles. And Switzerland would have gone bankrupt, except that they had a nice banking industry where दुनिया भर का चोरी का पैसा आके वहाँ पे रहता था, and then they can enjoy using that money. That's another matter. But as far as their watch industry was concerned, it virtually collapsed. Now they are trying to revive it again with projecting it as a fashion statement and something that now if you will ऐसी चाबी वाली घड़ी तो बहुत अमीर लोगों के पास में ऐसा हो सकता है. So that is how they will start, and they start projecting. But when paradigm shifts, everyone comes back to zero. So if it is a Swiss, if it is a watch with the spring, yes, Swiss has an advantage. But the moment it becomes watch with the battery, everyone are equal. So they can make, they will also have to learn, I will also have to learn. When machines were handled by hand, Some people have a technology, but now if a computer process chip comes, then they also will have to learn, I also will have to learn. So it is called, when paradigm shifts, everyone comes back to zero. And this is what is taking place now. Now there is a shift in paradigm. Family business enjoyed very well a few years ago. But now there is a shift, because of which there are many question marks. So now let's see, what are the shifts that has taken place? There is a book called The World is Flat. If you have not read, worth reading it. This is Friedman, the New York Times reporter, wrote this book in 2003. And he says the world was not flat, but now it has become flat since last few years. Now what is the meaning of flat? It's not only whether it is round or not round. When it is not flat, some people are on the top, they are always will be on the top. Some people who are at the bottom will always remain at the bottom. So there is a peak and a valley. And when it is flat, peak also comes down, and from valley also people come up, all become equal. That is what has happened in the world in last 20 years. It started in 20 years, but the real impact happened in last 10 years. He has explained 10 things that happened because of which the world has become flat. The first was 9/11. The moment people say 9/11, people think about the Twin Towers, right? And he says that that happened much later. Actual 9/11 happened much earlier. And that was 9/11, 1989, when the Berlin Wall was destroyed or was broken down, or Berlin Wall came down. That was 1989. January 1989, I was into some conference in Florence in Italy, and somebody made a statement that we stand for United Germany. And at that time I was thinking, how is it possible? Here is a thing that on the border, anybody is talking about that these two parts will become one, they are enemies or anything. And 9/11, 89, the Berlin Wall was officially broken, and the two Germany became one. And that was a signal that increasingly people all over the world are realizing that remaining isolated doesn't make sense. And the word globalization was born. And since then, the things have become so much global that today there is an American company, say you buy an IBM computer which is made in Taiwan, like chips that is made in China and which is distributed by some company in Singapore, and then it comes here. So now what is where has changed so much that today global has become a common term. Few years ago, global was terms for only few countries. For example, countries like South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, they were very lucky because they didn't have any resource and they didn't have any market. So all that they had to do always was going abroad. Our economies and our countries were big enough that all of us always thought only about local. So we take many of our students to foreign visits, and we went to Taiwan. And we went to Taiwan and we went to one factory which makes paper clip. I'm sure you must have used the paper clip. It's not a very high technology product. It's just a wire. And in a machine it is twisted like this and then cut, and then it falls. And when a gross of it falls, it's put into a box. Plastic carrier, plastic pack and box and gone. In Bombay there will be more than 500 people manufacturing this. Everybody doing business of around 4-5 lakhs, earning 50,000, a lakh of rupees a year. It's a very, very tiny business. Will we think about getting into paperclip manufacturing? Sounds ridiculous. It's such a tiny business. We went into Taiwan. There was a company where we went and we saw a big factory. We said, oh, paperclip manufacturing so big. What do you do? I said, we sell paperclip. How do you sell? We have 4 salesmen. One for US, one for Europe, one for Far East, one for the rest of the world. Selling paperclip, 100 crore. Now, for them, they say we are so lucky that our country was so small that whoever makes anything thinks straight away about the world market. So all these countries grew because from beginning they are focused on world market. Post 90s, the world globalization has become so common all across that now if somebody is thinking local, is considered as outdated. So that was one major change that took place. So if I was in shop in one hardware market in our city, we did business in that hardware market and everybody kept coming to that hardware market. And now suddenly I realized that product from all over the countries, all over the world is coming, and people have come up all over the places, that that shop in that hardware market has started losing the charm. This is one paradigm shift that has taken place. The way we were doing business worked very well in last century. The way we need to do business